Hello everybody, this is Cloudy JJ's Free Time here, and welcome to another vaping experience video, number 4, I believe, part 4. And boy, hasn't a lot changed since the last one, because if you remember, I was on this thing, which took AA batteries. Still a good mod. I use it in most of my review videos nowadays, for when I have to do pen mods for e-liquids that are from Poundland and such. But nowadays, as you can tell, I'm using this smock right here, and it lights up the different colours every time you vape out of it, and you can change the colours and change the wattage, etc. But before we get to that completely, I want to talk about my previous so far. Since 2017, a lot of things have changed. After that video in 2017, I got this, and it was my first ever battery mod that required these sort of batteries, and it was good. It was good to begin with. This one's the Joytech, and this is the 150 cobalt, but it's been upgraded to 200 watts now, and I've still got it. You've seen it in videos, and it's a very heavy piece of kit. Works pretty well still. Put your batteries in there, it still works fine. I could prove it actually. I'm going to fire this up quick. So I'm going to put the... I'll tell you what, I'm not going to take the batteries out of the other smock right now. I'm going to put the deader batteries that I've got, which is the E-Fest, just for now. I forgot how you turn this on. Or is the battery dead? Yeah, I put some there. There we are. It's on. Yeah, I've been using this mostly in videos. You've probably seen, probably seen this in videos. And just to prove it works, I'm going to put this Aspire tank on the battery mod right now. Yeah. So, as you can see, it works. So, what made me get this then? Well, I was in a vape shop in Sleaford, and I spotted this, and it was the first ever one I spotted, basically. I mean, I wanted to get something like smock or something, and basically I was just browsing really to see what their prices were, and they're a little bit overpriced in that vape shop. So what I did was I got the Joytech, but I didn't know anything about the Joytech or anything when I got it, and I got it, but you know, I needed batteries for it, so I believe these were my first ever batteries, or maybe the one in this smock is my first ever Samsung batteries I truly got. I took the stickers off with the stupid writing on it that was actually bulging a little bit to the thing, and this wasn't my first tank, by the way. This is just an example that it works. My first ever tank that I bought from a vape shop was, there it is, this, the Smock Baby Beast. As you can tell, this was a very good tank in my opinion. It was very strong, and if you're starting to vape, I wouldn't recommend buying something like this to begin with. I started to use e-liquid or e-juice from my own supply, but I also used others in Sleaford that were overpriced. Anyway, very nice little box, nice little tank. The tank is not in there because it's actually on another device that I'll get to. Yeah, a very good little mod. The reason why I went off this mod and I went to something like this was because this mod was good and all, but the problem was the fire button would misfire, and now and again it would go ape shit on its own when you're vaping and all that. So that's the reason I went off this. But don't worry, this is still my backup mod. But yeah, it's a very nice Joytech. This actually goes up to 200 watts now, depending on what tank you shove on it. And with the Baby Beast, it went really well. But then after a while, I wanted to switch it up a notch. So what I decided to do was we bought many tanks, me and Mum. We bought many tanks because the Baby Beast was eating coils like crazy. I even bought something that wasn't so great quality. Damn it. Anyway, here's the top of it. You've seen it on Instagram, I'll show a picture. But the coils on it were put really crap. They were only got up to 30 watts before it would burn the coil completely to a crisp. So that was a waste of money, but you know, it was okay for a while. It kept me going for a bit. And then my mum bought me my Aspire tank right here, which I still love today. I think it's the best tank so far that I've bought. Well, my mum's bought. When I got the Aspire tank, it had a black top to it, but now it has this really colourful design on it. Yeah, the reason why that happened was because the Aspire came with the black tip, and the black tip was made out of plastic, and this is made out of plastic, but I kept biting it and all sorts of stuff, and then eventually it broke off. It just shattered off, and I had to get a new one of these tops, and they're very cheap, but well, they weren't that cheap actually. What am I saying? It was very expensive for something like this, and but it works still fine. It's more colourful now, and you know, I like it. There was also green colours and many others, but I just went for this because it was the nicest looking of the lot. The rest of them make you want to puke, I suppose. So yeah, when I first got the first ever mod, I got my 2 batteries that are actually in this now, and it was actually in this thing, obviously. But then after a while, I got the eFest batteries after a reviewer from Adam and Val said it was alright. I bought them, and these are really good. I like them. Apparently people have rumoured or said that these exploded because they used AA batteries in them, but I think they've learned the lesson now. Everyone was new to vaping back then, so they didn't know what would power what. Plus, you know, people are cheap most of the time. Anyway, that was the Cobalt, and it was a good mod. The only problem with it was it just kept turning itself off, and after a while, back in 3 months ago, I got this, the Smock, and I was going to get the Smock Alien, but I don't know, I just wanted to be different to the crowd because I've bought washing machines and all sorts of stuff that's been the same as other people, and I was just sick and tired of it, that people would recommend me stuff and I would get it straight away because, you know, I wanted to follow what they were doing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Smock Alien looks good. I would love to get it, but, you know, I wanted something a little bit more unique to the crowd. So I got this, and it works really well. I like it, but apparently Smock is not a great company anymore. Apparently some people say it's not. Don't put anything in the comments. I know what you're going to say, Smock fanboys. But it works fine. I like it. I've got it. It's working fine. This one I believe also goes up to 220 watts, and it works pretty well. And I couldn't be any happier with it. The coil that came with it, or the tank even, not the coil, was this smock tank. And let me just say, please people, don't use tanks that come with mods and all that, because they don't always work the best. This thing was poor. I used 2 of the coils and they just burnt out in no time. Compared to the Baby Beast, this is the crappiest tank I've ever been near. It eats through so many coils. It's a nice looking tank as well, which is a shame it failed so badly. So this is like a backup now. I keep this in the cupboard, and then what I do is I get a coil or 2 if I ever run out of the Aspires. But yet again, the Aspire is cheaper, I believe, than the Smock because it eats through them. These are the replacement tank clearizers, or whatever you call them, the coils. You get a 5-pack, and let me just say, the Aspire is good and all, but I've had a few faulty coils from Aspire, and the problem with Aspire now and again when it's faulty is it leaks, and this one has an intention to leak on the first go, and it really irritates me because if you've got e-liquids that are not cheap, for example, that would cheese you off. Anyway, now we're going to go on to the road sort of stuff. Now, before all of this, you know, I was on things like this and this on the road. I decided to up my game by getting myself something from China called the Younow Parrot, right here. Now you may notice I got the box but not the actual mod anymore, and there's a really good reason why I haven't got the, oh look, the Aspire you know, ring. I'll put that there. I don't know why people have those. I mean, it makes the tank look weird, I guess, but I guess it just bounces, I guess. And like I said, fight to vape and all that. It's very funny. It's gone on the floor now. This was my first ever on the road mod that I used, and it was good, but then after a while it just got a little bit crappy, just like the Joytech Cobalt. It was playing up. So I don't have this mod to show you, but it was crap, and it was cheap at the time, but I kept using it for a while. But then, after getting overcharged from my local vape shop, I got the eFest iStick Power that I could have got cheaper online, but it's a very nice little unit. You just charge it up and all that, and it's brilliant actually, because you don't have to rely on a shit ton of batteries. You just use this on the go. And yes, I know that's bad because that means you can't change them, but again, you know, as long as they're cheaper online, I think I can get away with it. Anyway, it has a charger thing on there, and when you turn it on, you can see that you can select the voltage and all sorts, and wattage. This one only goes up to 80 watts, but again, on the road, this Smock only goes up to, I believe, 80 watts anyway, so it works with it. Now, the reason why I stuck with the Mini Smock, or the Baby Beast, which apparently, according to vape shops and liars of vape shops, they say that you can't get the Baby Beast coils anymore, but I've got them still, and I can still buy them online, so what absolute liars by the looks of it. Anyway, I like this Smock Baby Beast on top of this. Makes really good clouds for 40 watts. It's pretty good. I don't use it on high because at 60 watts it starts to eat the coil a lot. But apart from that, you know, for 40 watts it really does produce a lot of cloud. In fact, it produces near the same as this after about 3 seconds. So yeah, that's my Ego case, and it has like my lovely mod in there, and the Smock Baby Beast. So yeah, that's my history over it. I'm now on this. The Cobalt 150 watt is good for a backup, but the button misfires or doesn't work, or it plays up. So I went to something like this for an upgrade or downgrade, but I might not go for Smock anymore in the future because, well, people have said that the low quality, and well, I don't know. I might be happy with it or maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, I got shit ton of batteries now. I got this, by the way, these batteries when I got this, and I got this when I wanted another pair of batteries while the other ones were charging for the Cobalt, and now I've got like 3 spare amount of batteries. They're not really spares. They're more like day-to-day or weekly use batteries. I have a routine with my batteries when I charge them up, and I do use something like this Nightcore charger, and it's really good, by the way. Just pop your batteries in, don't have to worry about it, walk away. It even tells you when your batteries are dying, so that's awesome. You also have to look out for the battery splits and all that. So, but yeah, it's great. I like this. I like these batteries. You can just change them and don't have to worry about it too much. But I have a routine now with these batteries. Every week I change them and leave them on the side to charge. And ones that are on the server mean that they're ready to go. And I also have a box ready to pack away the other batteries, so they don't short out in the unit. But yeah, these need charging, by the way, and they still work, but they just need charging. The liquid I am on right now is something from the vape shop called Squish Magic or Squish Wizard 25ml. These are expensive. I wouldn't recommend getting it from Vape HQ. Very expensive and not much flavour compared to the ones on the market on the internet. So, how myself have I felt with the vape mods? I'm pretty happy. They may be expensive to begin with, but after a while, they pay for themselves. I wouldn't pay like loads of money to keep changing them over and over and over again. This did me okay. The only reason why I went to this was because this was playing up, but it's still a great backup for 200 watts compared to 220. We're never going to hit those levels unless you're a vape magician or whatever. I can't say the word. Whatever. If you're a vape person that goes up to 220, then you have a lung of steel, and I don't. So I stick with 60 watts or 40 because, well, it's what I'm comfortable with. I don't want my lungs to be on fire. Nicotine wise, I don't use nicotine in these. I've never done nicotine in any e-liquids. I always double check that they don't have any in. And also, before I head off, I want to talk about what you can do on the cheap when you have no money for e-liquids, because I had this problem last year, and I had this with the Cobalt 150 volt, well, whatever. You can make your own. I make my own all the time, and it works pretty well. All you have to do is get glycerol or glycerin, and then what you do is you get a syringe like this, and then you pop it into the bottle, and then that's it. You got enough vaping liquid until you get a lot of money, basically, or at least some money. And I was vaping on this and it works fine. I might have to do a new batch now because this is very old. This batch, it's been there for about a year, so it's recommended if you make a huge batch to vape it quickly. But if your budget is zero nearly, that's the best way to combat the horrible e-liquid overpriced shit on the market. because believe it or not, it's not really hard to make, and I believe it's only £1. So you go to Boots, you get that, you put it in your own cartons of bowls and stuff, and you can just vape away then. If you want to, you can add nicotine shots, but I don't. As I said, I'm not really a smoker, so. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. 21 minutes, fucking hell, right? Thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me what you think below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Oh, and I forgot to show you some other things about my vaping experience. Not just the Cobalt is my backup, but if I ever run out a liquid or whatever, another backup of mine is to switch to the older technology known as the blue. And the great thing is these are extremely cheap online, and they work alright. But if you want a bigger mod, this is a bit crap, but it's good if you've got nothing else. Also, if my other mod breaks down, or if it needs charging but I haven't got any way of charging it on the road, I've got this Blue Plus as well. And the great thing about this one is it charges your battery for you. Unfortunately, I don't have any clearizers in it at the moment, but if I ever need to have a vape because I'm angry or whatever, and I literally have no e-juice or no battery power on the go because I've run out of power, these are my backups, if you will. This is my home backup, and the Plus is from the road. And the great thing is, if I was in a car or something and I didn't have any e-juice on the road and I was pissed off badly and I needed a vape badly, I would have gone to something like this because it's easy, it charges itself, and you can rarely find them in gas stations. I know they've got nicotine in them, but if you're clawing at the walls and you need a vape but you don't normally have nicotine, this is the only way to do it. Or you can just buy some cheaper cartomizers online, just stick them on there and leave them in there in the car, and whenever you are clawing at the walls and you're out of vapey liquid, because it's not cheap, they're the go-tos, because you can get the clearizers quite cheap most of the time. Anyway, I thought I'd show you them too, because I forgot to show them in the video, but that's my backup. But I could also use the Ego battery if I wanted to. I might put them in as well, just in case, but in a really big deep emergency, these will be handy. And yeah, that's it really. I mean, you can actually buy blue no nicotine versions anyway, so I'll probably get those if I could find them. But yeah, if I ever get, you know, really agitated and whatever, I need a vape badly, that's one way of doing it. We've all been in that situation when everything is not working right in your day, but the one thing that is working is the backup. So there you go. Anyway, I thought I could quickly put that in. I'm now going now. Bye bye. And of course, there is something I've missed at the end. First of all, I know I'm going to put this as a caption on the screen, but the batteries that were in the mod on the video was nothing to do with the batteries I first got. It was the other way around. The ones that are on the server was the ones that I first got, because it had a little slit in it, in the green. Anyway, there's something else I forgot to miss out. Now and again, I do get nicotine in my vapes, because you've seen it in part 2 or part 3 or something, and this is now part 4. So I do get them, but only for you know, reviews or demonstration purposes. Now and again I might get them, but that's a rarity in itself. Now, this is why I think that the addiction thing is bullshit, because the nicotine that was in my 88 vape and many others were pretty high, and I never vaped any nicotine again after that. I literally left the nicotine alone, and I literally didn't have a addiction at all. I was on the normal vape stuff, and I didn't see any problem. In fact, I didn't like it as much. That's probably why. But also, a lot of people are different. Some people are weaker than others, and some people, you know, will go back on the cigarette when they realise they can't get it anymore because they panic. But again, you know, I don't have such a high addiction rate, I don't think, because I had a ton of nicotine, and I nearly had a nicotine crash when once I had too much of it. And I vaped it like I normally would, and that was the biggest problem, because if you vape it too much, obviously you're going to get like all of the nicotine, and it's going to be a big hit, and it will make you feel like you're drunk. But again, I don't have an addictive personality, because I can drink alcohol one night and then forget about it, and forget about it for about a year or two if I wanted to, or as long as I wanted. That's the same with nicotine, basically. So that's why I don't have nicotine in my mods, because I don't really have an addictive personality, and you know, I just don't like nicotine, to be fair. If I was coming off cigarettes, probably, yeah. But again, I know I'm not a smoker or anything, but when you have nothing, that's what you got left from 88 vape. But now I know how to make my own e-liquid, you know, all that shit. I obviously know not to go near the 88 vape stuff, but I get it now and again for a review, and there's nothing wrong with nicotine. People seem to think it's addictive, but people are mostly weak, so that's how I see it. Anyway, again, thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to currently subscribe, and I will see you hopefully in the next one. Cheers.